Hello class, today we're talking about multiplying decimals. This is our third lesson of Unit 1. We're going to begin today's lesson by reviewing your homework from last night. At this time, please take out the Adding and Subtracting Decimals homework sheet. Here are the answers for your homework sheet. Please pause the video while you review the answers. When you're ready to move on, press play. At this time, please turn to your multiplying decimals notes in your packet. Today we're going to talk about multiplying decimals. Now in the previous years, you've always referred to multiplication with using the symbol of x. We are no longer going to use the symbol x when talking about multiplication because oftentimes the x gets confused with the variable. So there are different ways that we can represent multiplication. We could use the parentheses, so a number next to parentheses means to multiply. Whenever a number is in front of a variable, that also means to multiply. We use the dot to represent multiplication, and we also use an asterisk to represent multiplication. So these are all the different ways that you could use to represent multiplication and not use the x. Now I'm going to teach you how to multiply decimals. Step 1, you multiply as you would with whole numbers. Let's take for example 1.6 times 0.1, 1 6/10 times 1/10. Don't worry about the decimal places, just multiply like you normally would. So you would multiply 16 times 1, which will give you 16. Step 2, you add the number of the decimal places in the factors. So here, I swooped the decimal one place, so there's one decimal place. In the second one, swooped it one time, there's one decimal place. I add the two of those together, so in my final answer, I'm going to swoop it 2 decimal places. So in step 3, you're going to place your decimal in the product. So here, I placed it one time up here, one time on the bottom. I add them up, so I'm going to place it 2 times. And you can go back and you can check by using estimation. 1 times 1.6 rounds to about 2, times 0.1 rounds to 0. So 2 times 0 is about 0. And here I have 16 hundredths, and if you think about it as money, that would be 16 cents or 16 pennies, which is close to 0. Let's begin by filling out your notes for today. Step 1, you need to multiply as if there were no decimals. Step 2, to place your decimal in your answer, count the number of decimal places in your factors. Then count that many places in your answer from right to left. Step 3, you can use estimation to check if your answer is reasonable. Let's begin with problem example number 1. 6 times 4.1, let's first estimate. 6, we can leave it as 6, times 4.1 is about 4. So 6 times 4 is 24. Now let's solve the problem. I always do the longer number on top. Remember, I did not say the bigger number, I just said the longer number. So 4.1 times 6, and in this case it doesn't matter if you use an x or not because it's written vertically. And then you multiply like you normally would. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Now we count our decimal places. We swooped it one place here. We have no decimals here, so in our answer we're going to swoop it one place. So we start to the far right and we swoop it one place. And so our answer is 24.6. Now remember, if I am writing it, you should be writing it. If I come to your school to visit you, when I look through your notes, I should see your work written out. So your answer is 2.4. Now is that close to our estimate? It is. So that's a reasonable answer. Now let's look at example number 2. We first estimate 3, we can leave as 3, times 0.03 is close to 0. 3 times 0 is equal to 0. So our answer should be close to 0. Now let's write it out. Remember, I put the longer number on top. Times 3. Multiply like you normally would. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 0 is 0. Now let's count how many times we swoop the decimal. 2 places here. No decimal in the second one. So our final answer, we're going to swoop the decimal 2 places. So start at the far right, and let's swoop the decimal 2 places. So our final answer is 0.09. 0.09 is close to 0, so that is our answer is reasonable. Now let's look at example number 3. 2.78 is about 3. 2.8 is about 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. So our answer is going to be about 9. Now we write out the number. Now remember, when we're multiplying numbers, you don't have to line up the decimals. That is only for adding and subtracting. So now we multiply like we normally would. 8 times 8 is 64. Write the 4, carry the 6. 7 times 8 is 56, plus 6. 62. You write the 2, carry the 6. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 6 is 22. Now I add my 0 as my placeholder so I can move over to the next number. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14 plus 1 is 15. 5. Carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. Now we have to add them all together. We have 4, 8, 7, 7. And now we have to put in our decimals. We swooped 2 places here. We swooped 1 place here for a total of 3 places in our answer. So 1, 2, 3. So our final answer is 7.784. And is that close to 9? Yes, it is. Now let's take a look at our last example. Let's estimate 0.125 is about 0.1. 8.5 is about 9. 0.1 times 9 is equal to 0.9. Now let's multiply like we normally would. 0.125 times 8.5. 5 times 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. 5 times 0 is 0. Put my 0 to hold the place value. 8 times 5 is 40. 0, carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus 4 is 20. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 8 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Now I add 5, 2, 6, 0, 1. Now I count my place values. I swoop 3 times in the first one, once in the second one, for a total of 4. So in my answer, I will swoop the decimal 4 places. So my answer is 1.0625. And is 1.0625 close to 0.9? Yes, it is. Now at this time, I would like for you to practice these 4 guided practice problems. At this time, please pause the video while you complete these 4 problems. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. And here are the answers. The first one is 24.3. The second one is 27.54. The third one is 15.196. The fourth one is 0.625. Now at this time, please pause the video while you complete the first two independent practice problems. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. The first answer is 36. The second answer is 26.25. Now at this time, please complete problems 3 through 5 on your own. Please pause the video while you complete these 3 problems. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. The answer for number 3 is $34. The answer for number 4 is $10.39. The answer for number 5 is 24 kilometers. I would now like for you to pause the video while you complete your reflection questions. When you're ready to check your answers, press play. For these 2 questions, answers will vary, but one of the reasons why estimation is important in multiplying is to see if you're placing the decimals in the correct places, if your answer is reasonable, and how did you determine where to put the decimal in your final answer. Well, if you estimate the whole numbers, then you can see that if it's supposed to be in the hundredths place, tenths place, thousandths place. So estimation does help with placing your decimal and also with multiplying. Your homework for tonight is to complete the Multiplying Decimals practice sheet, day 4 homework. Make sure you complete this at home so that when you come to school tomorrow, you're ready to get started and to check over your homework. Good luck and have a great day.